Yo, it's Ibetonme. Bungie has shifted most of their active development team off Destiny 2 and onto Marathon. Now this is not a leak, and this is not a rumor, and this is confirmed by Tassi, and this is a documented move by Bungie. And half the community is out here acting like this is just a content patch, and acting like Bungie is just hitting pause and everything is gonna resume when Marathon settles in. So I'm cutting the cap, because what this actually means for your time investment in Destiny 2 is way bigger than any dev blog is gonna spell out for you. And if you're a D2 player who hasn't sat with the real implications of this move yet, you are absolutely trolling yourself. So let's talk about it. So here's the timeline, and I want to walk you through this quickly because the pattern matters. In 2023, Bungie laid off roughly 100 people. In 2024, they cut another 220. That's 17% of the entire studio in one swing. And that was right after the final shape shift. And now in 2026, the confirmed dev shift means the majority of their remaining talent is pointed at Marathon. See, that's 2 rounds of cuts, 1 redirect. See, that's not restructuring, that's a full pivot. Now starting with what makes this different from the layoffs, see, the layoffs hurt. But when you lay off someone, the team that stays can theoretically keep running at speed. However, when you redeploy your best people to a new IP, see, you're fundamentally changing what Destiny 2 is going forward. You're not cutting fat, you're cutting the engine. But let me be very clear, this isn't a Bungie hate video. I'm not here to doom post for clicks. I'm here because I've been covering this franchise long enough to know the difference between a bad season and a structural shift, and this is the second one. Now let me give you an actual picture on where D2 stands. See, Steam concurrent peaks are down roughly 40% year over year. Now that is not a dip, that is a trend. The seasonal model, the thing specifically engineered to pull players back every 3 months, is generating less engagement than it did during the Shadowkeep era. Not Lightfall, Shadowkeep. We're talking about a game that's been in measurable freefall since 2022, and the team holding the rope just got their marching orders. Now some of you are gonna say the game still has millions of registered accounts. Yeah, and a lot of those accounts are logging in once a month to check their vault, grab a free reward, and logging off. And registered accounts are not the same as invested players, and Bungie knows that their engagement numbers tell them that every single day. Alright, so now that I got that out the way, here's where it genuinely gets wow, because not just the player account, it's the content cadence. So look at the last 3 episode cycles. The amount of new buildable content, the stuff that actually keeps hardcore players engaged, has been shrinking. The story moments are shorter, the replayable systems are lighter, and that was before the devs even shifted. So what you're looking at now is a skeleton crew maintaining a live service game while the A team builds something else. And that's not an opinion, that is the math. Okay, so let me break down Marathon quickly, because I don't think a lot of D2 players still don't fully grasp what Bungie is actually building there. See, Marathon is an extraction shooter, not a hero shooter, not a Destiny loader sequel. Extraction. You drop in with your loadout, you find loot, you fight other players, you extract, and if you die, you lose everything you brought in. It's high stakes, it's high anxiety, and it's hands down the most competitive sub-genre in gaming right now. Arc Raiders is in that lane right now. Tarkov built the lane. Hunt Shadow has been in that lane for years, and Bungie is walking in and saying, we can do this better. Now why is Bungie betting the entire house on this? Because extraction shooters, when they work, oh, they are a printing press for money. See, Tarkov monetization model is cosmetics, it's insurance systems, it's wipes, it's seasons, it generates revenue in a way that even Destiny Eververse couldn't match. Because the stakes of the game makes players want to spend to get back into the fight, and Bungie has already proven they could build a world that people could live in for years. But the problem, Bungie hasn't proven they could survive a competitive extraction shooter after their launch window, and that window is already getting very crowded. See, Arc Raiders is already a success, and more competitors are moving in faster, and Bungie's goal was to ship Marathon clean, and for it to ship with a strong enough meta to retain players through the first month. However, we have seen that Marathon has been bleeding players since launch. Now I'm not going to do a deep dive on the Marathon retention problems because I've already gone surgical on that. the Q death spiral, the solo player design failure, all of it. See, that video is already on my channel. But what I will tell you is this: the same structural patterns that's bleeding Marathon players right now is the same pattern that nearly killed Destiny 2 in the Witch Queen era, and Bungie is on a much shorter clock this time. And here's where it snaps back to you, the Destiny 2 player. See, the question isn't, is Marathon eventually going to be good? The question is, what happens to Destiny 2 while Bungie finds out? Alright, so here's the actual reality check for every type of D2 player watching this, and I'm going to be straight up specific because you deserve that. First, let's talk about the hardcore player. Now, if you're here for PvP, I'm sorry. The game is what it is. It'll never go back to its glory days. Bungie has gutted its PvP team for Marathon. But if you're here for raids, GMs, and in-game content, the game is still delivering for now. The core gameplay loop that made D2 great is still there. The bones of the franchise are genuinely some of the best first-person feeling in game, full stop. But you need to go in with your eyes open about the next 12 months, because content updates are going to slow. The creative ambitions of the new seasons are going to drop. The designers who built the encounters you love, most of them are working on Marathon now. Now, if you're a casual player, you're gonna come back for seasons, you're gonna dip in for the story, you check out between big drops. You're gonna feel abandoned, because the seasonal content is specifically what's going to thin out. The thin seasonal content within the 6 weeks cadence is a loop that breaks players' habits really fast. Let me be very clear on something people are getting completely wrong. This does not mean Destiny 2 is shutting down tomorrow, but what it does mean is that Destiny 2 is entering a maintenance era. Think of it like World of Warcraft when Blizzard was building Diablo 4. The game kept running, the content kept releasing, but the creative ambition dropped, and the player base that was stuck around was mostly people who had nowhere else to go. That is the realistic future of Destiny 2 in 2026. Not a shutdown, a plateau. Whether that's acceptable to you depends entirely on why you're playing D2 in the first place. Here's the part that no one's talking about. See, if Marathon does well, Bungie is gonna print more money. They're gonna invest it in Destiny, and we've seen this exact same playbook work before. So games go into maintenance mode, the parent IP funds the new one, and 3 years later, there's a Destiny 3 announced and everyone loses their mind. But if Marathon continues to bleed players, if cheating does not get handled, if monetization becomes predatory, Bungie is going to be in a genuinely dangerous position, and Destiny 2 goes into full legacy mode faster than anyone wants to admit. Yeah, you knew that was coming. So here's my actual take, no sugarcoating. Stay in D2 if your in-game focus and the gameplay loop is genuinely enough for you. GM, Nightfalls, dungeons, raiding, the weapon crafting meta, all of it is still there. So go in knowing you're playing a franchise in its twilight creative era and enjoy what's actually in front of you. But bounce if you came back for the story, for the seasonal energy, for the feeling that Bungie was building towards something. The energy is now pointed at Marathon. Chasing it in D2 is going to be frustrating. And watch Marathon if you're on the fence about the franchise, because this is the bet. If Marathon eventually becomes successful, Bungie future is secure and Destiny is getting its reinvestment. However, if Marathon continues to faceplant, this conversation in 18 months is going to be a lot more final. This isn't your standard the game is dying doomer video you finish and forget. This is a decision point. The dev shift is real. The numbers are real. The choice of where you put your time in a live service game in 2026 is genuinely worth talking about, because your time has value. But let me be very clear. I want Marathon to succeed, because if it does, we all win. But blind optimism about Destiny 2's content pipeline right now isn't loyalty to the game. It's straight up trolling yourself. Also, do me a favor and drop me a comment. Are you staying in Destiny 2, jumping a Marathon, or checking out of the Bungie ecosystem entirely? I genuinely want to know where you guys stand on this one. Also, if this video entertained you or educated you, hey, a like would be appreciated, and sub to the channel if you haven't. It helps more than you think. And again, I am Ibetonme, and you should too. And if you do want to see my latest marathon deep dive video and its implications on Destiny 2, I would suggest you watch this video next. Also, don't forget to like and sub. You guys have a great day. Peace.